Welcome back, Year 10s. I've got my backup stylus. We'll see how long it takes me until I start cursing it. Alright, exercise 5F. Solving quadratic equations. Why have we done all this practice factorising quadratics? Because factorising lets us use the Null Factor Law, which lets us solve quadratic equations. So the Null Factor Law, if two or more things are being multiplied together and the answer is 0, then at least one of those things must be equal to 0. The only way I can have two things being multiplied together and the total being 0 is if one of those things is 0. So that's what the Null Factor Law is going to talk about. Here we go. To solve equal to 0, factorise and solve. You probably remember that from last year. It may be in the distant memory for some of you. Let's see how we go. I'm going to start here. Let's have a look at A. X squared minus 2x equals 0. As soon as I see a power of x greater than 1, I'm thinking factorise Null Factor Law. This is a nice easy one to factorise. X is the common factor. X minus 2 are the leftover bits. That becomes my second factor. I have two things multiplying to equal 0. Either the first one, x equals 0, or the second one, x minus 2 equals 0. I can rearrange that equation to get x equals 2. And there are my solutions. X equals 0 or x equals 2. Let's have a look at the next one. X squared minus 15. Or who's excited already? Not just me, I hope. Your favourite rule in maths. How am I going to factorise this? That's right, your favourite rule in maths. X plus root 15. X minus root 15. Equals 0. That's what that's equivalent to. So therefore, either the first bracket, x plus root 15 equals 0, or the second bracket, x minus root 15 equals 0. From that we get x equals negative 15 or x equals positive root 15. Warning! Too many of you will be tempted to do this. X squared equals 15, therefore x equals root 15. It's a dodgy method because more often than not, people only remember the positive square root. X could in this case equal plus or minus the square root of 15, as we can see from our working above. This is a dangerous method. Don't fall for that. Stick with using your favourite rule in maths, the difference of two squares. Factorise and solve if you can. It's going to make your life easier. Part C here. 2x squared equals 50. Alright, I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to get x squared equals 25. And then you're all thinking in your heads, oh, so x equals 5. And what am I going to say? I'm going to say, don't give me an excuse to take marks away from you. You'll be upset. I'll be upset. Your teacher will be upset. It's too easy to miss a solution doing that. Rearrange it so that it's equal to 0. X squared minus 25 equals 0. Apply your favourite rule in maths, the difference of two squares. X plus 5 times x minus 5 equals 0. Now, I know that the first bracket equals 0, or the second bracket equals 0. So x equals negative 5, or x equals 5. Might take you 2 more lines of work, but you won't get it wrong. That's my interest. It doesn't take so long that you don't have time to do it. Do it the right way. Always get it right. There are 3 there for you to try. I want you to have a go at those now. Pause the video, give them a go, and then check your answers when you're ready. Okay, catch you in a minute. Alright, you've got your answers there. Note that when you get to this stage, and I've got x minus 3 equals 0, if you know that that means x has to equal 3, I'm happy for you to just go straight to that line. You don't have to write the line x minus 3 equals 0 before that. Have a think about it. Likewise, when you get to here, a difference of two squares, if you can see this is negative root 11 is going to make that 0, positive root 11 to make that 0, you can write your working in that way. Save yourself a little line if you have to. Similarly over there, difference of two squares. So you've got a few options there. They were all a bit easy to factorise. Let's do it with some that are a bit more fun to factorise. Let's do A, B and C right here. How am I going to factorise A? Well, that's equivalent to numbers that multiply to 6 and add to -5. That'd be -3 and -2. Therefore, x equals 2 or 3. I wanted to write them in increasing order. That's okay. So I got x equals 2 from that bracket, x equals 3 from the other bracket. You could add in the extra line of work if you want. X squared plus 2x plus 1. Numbers that multiply to 1 and add to 2. Well, that's x plus 1 times x plus 1, which I could just write as x plus 1 squared, couldn't I? If a square number equals 0, then that number has to equal 0. So x plus 1 has to equal 0. X equals -1. Only one solution there. Lucky last here, 10x squared minus 13x minus 3 equals 0. So you're going to have to do a little bit of inspection here, or whatever method you find best for factorising the non-monic ones. I can see this is going to be a 5x and a 2x. That's still going to give me my 10x squared. Now I want to end up with -13. So if I go -3 here, that gives me -15. The other factor of -3, if one factor is -3, is 1. 1 times 2x is +2. So you can see -15x plus 2x, -13x. So I know I've got that right. Take your time with these ones. 5x plus 1 equals 0, or 2x take 3 equals 0. 5x equals -1, x equals -1/5. Or we can keep going with the other one. 2x equals 3, x equals 3/2. And there you've got your two solutions. There are 3 there for you to try. I'll try and leave my working there so you can see that if you need to refer to it while you pause the video. Again, pause the video, have a crack at those now. And there you have your answers there. Feel free to check your working. Hopefully that was all okay. What do we do if we've got questions? Put them into the collaboration space. All right, good luck with this exercise. Oh, solving disguised equations. I better show you those first. These are just quadratics where you have to rearrange them first. I'll show you the first 2 steps. I think you can do the rest because you've seen enough of me doing that. What would this one be equivalent to? That's equivalent to x squared equals 4x plus 60. Set it equal to 0. X squared minus 4x minus 60 equals 0. Now you can go ahead and factorise that. X take 10. X plus 6 equals 0. I was going to show you the first 2 steps, but I got carried away. From the first bracket, I'm going to have x equals 10. From the second bracket, I'm going to have x equals -6. Part B here, what's that going to be equivalent to? I don't like having x on the bottom, so I'm going to multiply through by x. So I've got x plus 6 equals x squared. Hot tip, keep your x squared positive. So when I rearrange this one, I'm going to have 0 equals x squared minus x minus 6. Oh, a little bit of space. I can't help but finish it off. It just feels wrong to leave it hanging there. Did it move that little bit down? There you go. Finishing this one off, that's equivalent to 0 equals x take 3 times x plus 2. Therefore, x equals 3 or x equals -2. Are your 2 answers there? So you just got to do a little bit of rearranging first. All right, good luck with your work. Enough from me. Get stuck into your maths. Have some fun. See you next time.